All right, good morning, Tim. Can you hear us?
Yeah, good morning, Eric. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
We hear you loud and clear, Tim. So we'll turn it straight on over to you.
All right, good. Eric, thanks. You know, Mike, I heard the introduction. I come in on the tail end of that, and I appreciate that. Super happy to be here with you guys this morning. My real regret is that I'm not there in person. I think I heard you mention you were letting the group there know, the Prescribed Fire Council group know that I was over in Greenville, South Carolina today with my peers from the southeastern U.S. and the southern group of state forestry meeting. And wow, what you just my impression from where I'm sitting today is just what an exciting time for all of us to be in this community that we're all in the space that we all get to work in. Just a ton of opportunity to really build on a lot of the past successes that many of us in that room and many of the folks out here today with have been a part of. And I have never been as excited as I have about the future of all of the work that we will be doing together. So super glad to be here. Hey, I can't be there in person, but man, I appreciate you guys making it possible for me to be here with you virtually. So, and I look forward to seeing you next time in person. So, I'll go ahead and get started. I've got a few slides to walk through with you. Really, before I do that, though, just let me step back and just say thank you to all of the work that every one of you in that room are doing to promote and to really get fire across Georgia's landscape and keep fire a part of Georgia's landscape. From the chair that I get the opportunity to sit in, and it really humbles me. The amount of energy and the amount of focus that this group does to ensure that fire continues to be an important tool for Georgia landowners is extremely encouraging for me. So thank you for the work that you guys continue to do on that front, have done on this front, and continue to do on this front going forward. So look forward to, I want to share some, this first slide here is talking to you about some strategic initiatives that we're focused on here at GFC, really specific to this group. We have quite a bit of initiatives that we're taking on here at the Commission, and but these particular ones that I want to speak to you here just real briefly with this morning before I tap into some of the specific numbers that I know you guys are interested in. I just want to share some of these with you and just make you aware that here at the Commission we're working on what I would view as some pretty strategic initiatives. And you know, we have I know there's probably been a lot of conversation there today. Probably already has been some in the hallways and around the tables about capacity. And the capacity issue in our forest protection department is, I would view it as critical. We're focused on that. We've got a laser focus on trying to retain and try to recruit good Georgians and folks that are interested in becoming wildland firefighters and really wildfire mitigators and being able to put prescribed fire on the ground. It's pretty staggering to realize that 58% of our Ranger 1 positions across the state, and those are our wildland firefighters. Those are the team members that wake up every day and go out and support landowners through fire break plowing, prescribed burning. It's pretty staggering to see that 58% of those folks have less than 5 years experience, and 43% of those have less than 3 years experience. And that's a challenge for us, and that presents a challenge for our state to be able to accomplish the goals around prescribed fire and to get prescribed fire across the landscape. It takes some time to train team members to get comfortable with allowing them to go out and service landowners on a one-on-one basis. And because of this number, it often requires us to send multiple folks to work with landowners, and really a limiting factor for us as an agency to be able to allocate our resources in a way that we can get much more work done across our state. We're aware of that. We're sensitive to that, and we're tackling that. I really want to commend the governor and the legislature this year for them acknowledging turnover and retention in the state jobs is an issue. Many of you are aware that the governor and the legislature, you've seen it in the news, but he gave all state employees effective April 1st, and it's continuing on, moving forward, a $5,000 a year raise across the board. And that really was in response to no cost of living for state employees since the early 2000s, like 2008, 2009 mark. So no significant cost of living. So that's a little bit of a catch up there, and we're certainly thankful for that. We believe that's a great first step into to making us somewhat competitive, and it certainly has helped the morale of our folks. And we look forward to partnering with that initiative and finding ways that we can continue to do more for our employees and then really address that retention and recruitment goal that we have set for ourselves. Another thing that we're doing along those lines is instituting here in the next or coming weeks, really coming months, we will be putting together a career pathway for our rangers, and it's going to be based on tenure as well as some performance requirements that we're going to put in place for our rangers. And the goal is it's a 6-year career pathway that really allows a ranger that comes on board with us to chart, to know where their north is essentially, and they can chart their own course here with us at the commission and know where they will be 6 years from now. And why did we select the 6-year mark? You just look at the first bullet, and that is we lose folks at year 5 and year 4 for 4 or 5 years, and currently our rangers have about a 24 to 36 month career path with us. So we're doubling down on that, and really going to let them be responsible for their own success by meeting that tenure requirement and by meeting that performance requirement that will be a part of that as well. So I'm really excited about that. I have seen that pathway idea work at previous places. The place I worked at before coming on board for the commission really did a nice job of doing that for their employees. Will it be perfect? That's to be determined. I feel good about what we're doing there, but I also know that it may not be perfect for everyone, and I'm committed to making sure that we can do the best for the most. And if we do that and get it right, that will help us with retention and recruitment, and really show that we're investing into those rangers and committing into their professional and personal growth. So I'm really excited about that, based it on what I've seen work in other places, and I'm really excited about bringing that forward here at the commission. Other thing I'm particularly excited about is, and something that I've heard since I've been here, our chief rangers are for those of you that may not know, that's really our county manager. He's our frontline face for the commission, and we just some of the listening sessions and some of the conversations and business I've had around the state, the chief rangers have just been hamstrung, and some of the things I've heard, they're hamstrung by some of the tasks that we give them, some of the assignments that we ask them. They're hamstrung by trying to recruit and training new employees, and so we've committed to try to make their lives a little more efficient, and so we've arranged a solutions task force to come together. We're going to have a professional facilitator. This is next week. We're bringing in 18 of our chief rangers from around the state with the goal of let's identify the barriers and let's look at solutions, and let's bring forward common sense, good solutions to address those barriers so they can be successful in the tasks and the roles and the responsibilities that we ask them to do. And my hope is out of that, and out of this investment into this task force is that we can begin to remove those barriers, the challenges that they have in their positions, so that they can then focus on the core mission and the core focus and the core responsibilities of their job. And for me, that is answering the phone when the landowner calls and providing critical services, which include prescribed fire and also doing wildfire suppression in those areas. So I think we'll be better for that. I'm excited about that, and that really, I think, addresses retention and recruitment as well. So the other strategic, really initiative that I get in the big bucket of that I will kind of put it in is customer focus. I think we've got opportunity there at the commission. I do think that the commission does a great job at this. But I think we also have opportunity for improvement, as all of us do in our daily walk. We have opportunity for improvement in what we do. Primarily around permit issuance remains to be a challenge for us. And a lot of that is, some of that's driven by turnover at our dispatch centers and turnover in our offices, frankly, because of the volume of information that's got to be captured nowadays to issue a permit that is considering smoke, considering emissions, and considering the weather patterns for that particular area that permit is being issued. I recently walked through that permit process, and it took about 2.5 minutes to do one permit, and it was with a pretty experienced dispatch employee. And you know, my commitment is that we've got to figure out a way that we can do that in a little bit better time, and provide a quicker and a more fluid service to the constituents of Georgia without compromising the gathering and considering the appropriate information that we have. So that's one area, and then we are certainly always focused on increasing the amount of prescribed burning that we can help facilitate on private lands, expanding our ability to use drones to conduct burning. Right now, we've got one drone that we use for burning, and we've done some of it on public lands. Many of you know Marty T. Lumpkin. He's utilized that. I think we've had some really solid results from that. And the more experience we get with that and larger capacity we build with drones will allow us to transfer that technology over to private lands and utilize that technology over on private lands. And then that does nothing but increase our capacity to get fire appropriately spread across the landscape. So I'm excited about that. That's just, I think that speaks to us looking to technology to help improve the things that we do here at the commission. The other bucket here I would just mention, and I believe I spoke to this group about this. We, when I came aboard last January, shortly after that, I believe it was March, received a performance audit of our Forest Protection Department. The state did on us, the State Department of Audits, and it really focused on resource allocation, focused on what we need, the demands of the communities where we're at. And the governor's office asked us to put together a response to that audit. And honestly, they asked us to start looking at outside contractors and vendors to perform, to develop a response back to that audit. And we pushed back a little bit on that, or I pushed back a little bit on that. I said, I would prefer to bring someone internal if that's possible. And honestly, it was a little difficult. We looked at some external contractors and some vendors to perform or to develop a response to that audit. But given where we're at with supply chain constraints and the economy, it was frankly a little difficult to get a timeline commitment from an external source. So we look forward to the legislative session with the governor, working with the governor's Office and working with the legislature, and they have funded a strategic initiative director that's going to help us starting July 1 to put together a response to that forest protection audit that was developed. I think the other thing about this is that there also that individual that will join us will also be able to focus on some other strategic initiatives within the agency. Some that are inside forest protection, and then some that are also outside of forest protection. So really pleased to get that support from our state leadership, and look forward to developing that response, and then look forward to sharing those ideas and those really deliverables as we move forward. Customer focus, I talked a little bit about this. The current permit system, we know from experience and really just conversation and really just going through the system that issuance efficiency is gained with experience, and that's why we're focused on that recruitment and retention going forward. The online permit system for certified burners, we believe for many of you in this room today, I hope going forward will be the way that you choose to get permits going forward for prescribed burners. And we believe it's convenient. We believe requests can be submitted in advance, and there's no wait time, and approvals are sent to you by text and email. And that in itself hopefully frees up some of the folks that need to call in and maybe are not certified burners that are looking to get burn permits. So that can release some pressure off of the traditional call-in system that we all are so familiar with. So, and then the other is promoting. We're doing a somewhat of a push to call the afternoon before you plan to burn initiative, and that is, I wasn't even aware that we could call the afternoon before I came on board here at the commission, that you could call the afternoon and get a burn permit. And what that does is also relieve some of that pressure from that early morning call volume that we traditionally receive on good burn days. And so we're promoting that and encouraging that, especially for our folks that are more seasoned and that are planning ahead and are aware of that. So I encourage you to look at doing that as well if you're not taking advantage of that. And really the goal there again is just to take pressure off of that heavy call volume period of time that we have, so that we can continue to serve all of Georgia like we need to with permit issuance. This here is something I think that we talked about this at I think the last time we talked. This is the system that we put in place, or the legislature passed last year, was to stop really the requirement of individuals burning hand-piled yard debris to call us, to notify us that they were doing that. And I don't think we've seen, as an agency, across the agency, we haven't seen the reduction of calls and the reduction of these types of calls yet, because I think people, the citizens are still, frankly, a little, they're programmed to call and talk to our Forestry Commission office, talk about the weather, talk about if it's a good day to do that kind of stuff in their yard, to do those types of operations in their yard or around their farm. I think over time, through education, like what we do recently down in southwest Georgia with a prescribed fire, a wildfire mitigation team, a strike team, and they go and they just really blast the community. I think when we do things like that, and through social media and through meetings like this, and over time, the fact that normal citizens that are doing hand-piled burning around their home or around their farm don't have to call us. I think this has a great potential to relieve some of that pressure for folks that are really need to call us for a silviculture burn, or for an ag burn, or for some sort of forestry operation burn. So that's really the whole motivation behind this. This this particular, initiative that we've got here at the commission. So I think, there's, this actually, we have conversations, well, is this going to create more opportunity for wildfire? And I don't think so. No, I don't, because before there were no requirements, there were no teeth in what type of, or there were no requirements for doing these yard pile burns. And so as part of that part of that education of not having to call us to notify us, a significant part of the education is we're communicating what those requirements are around space from the property line, space from other buildings, and that there are certain reasonable precautions that the homeowner or that the individual needs to take when they go to these yard pile burns or yard debris burns. So I think over time we'll see a reduction in the need for answering the phone call, so to speak, but we'll also see the fruits of our labor with this education component about space and reasonable precautions. And I think we'll see I think long term we'll see a limitation of wildfire or a limiting factor of debris piles contributing to wildfire. So number of permits and notifications for this year, for 2022, you'll see number of permits are slightly down a little bit from last year, but last year, I will remind you, was a pretty impactful year, pretty busy year for us as an agency with permits and with burning. You'll see that through the next coming slides. That there was a fair amount of burning that took place in the state last year. So comparing this year to last year, it is a little off kilter. You'll see 2022 is it's still above what it was in previous years. Acres treated with prescribed fire here in Georgia, we're down a little bit. We were 329 last year, but again, I realize last year was a pretty good banner year for prescribed burning across our state. And that 1.3 million acres this year for our state is nothing to take lightly, and I think that's a great deal of work. The folks that are in that room, you guys know the amount of work, the amount of planning, the type of effort, the type of focus that it requires to get that kind of work done. And many of you in there contributed significantly to this accomplishment, and you should be commended for that. You should be congratulated for that, and I do congratulate you for your part and your effort in getting this amount of forest management and wildfire mitigation work done across our state. And there's no doubt our state and our forest health and our forest landowners across the state are better for all of this work. Silviculture burns continue to be a significant part of that, or really the majority of that type of acres. So that's the work that you do every day. That's the work that our team gets out and does every day across the state. So just for reference there, I know that's something that's important to you guys to see. One thing I wanted to say is that February and March for our agency became pretty interesting. It got really dry, and wildfire behavior fire behavior in general became a little, it became interesting, and it became a little, the behavior was it was really, the fire behavior was something that we had not been seeing change. And February and March, our agency had significant wildfire activity across the state, and that's what's reflected in this slide. You'll see it in 2022. The numbers were down a little bit across the entire year, but you'll see the acres were up, and that was really because of the intensity and behavior of fire that we saw in February and March, and had some fires that got up in some acreage and required some attention from our folks. But really proud of the work that our group does to continue to mitigate wildfires. 91% of Georgia is owned by private forest landowners, and I'm convinced that we're the best insurance policy they have in this state, or the best insurance policy that they have for the timber and for the property that they own in protecting them from wildfires. Our team continues to amaze me across the state on how they respond and how effective we are, even facing the challenges and the headwinds we have with inexperience, some turnover, and maybe lack of experience, and even through the pandemic, through COVID. My team and this team here at the Commission is truly amazing on how they handle wildfire, and I just continue to be amazed by that, and continue to be encouraged by that going forward. And, glad to be a part of that effort, and it's certainly is to be commended. And if we remain at GFC, we remain one of the most effective wildfire protecting agencies across the nation. There's the debris burning continues to be the number one reason for escape fire. So there's our causes for wildfires around our state. Nothing alarming there, pretty consistent with what it's been from time to time. I mean, from year over year. Then I'm just going to wrap up here, and I know Ken Parker's there, and Ken I believe he has a table out in the exhibit area, or in the exhibit area, and I would just encourage all of you that are there, and if you haven't already, or if you haven't made plans to go by and visit with him, get him to show you our online permitting system, give us feedback, and take advantage of that really, I think, incredibly valuable forward-looking tool. I look forward to seeing how that's going to develop into the future, and what that looks like, a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. I think it's going to be something that's going to be really meaningful for our state, and really improve our ability as certified burners to accomplish the goals that we want to accomplish. So get by and seek in and look at that website, take advantage of that, and then I also encourage you to get information on these upcoming prescribed fire certification courses, and share that with folks that you think are interested or would be interested in participating in those sessions that are upcoming. So our commitment at the Georgia Forestry Commission is to continue to be what I would consider one of the leading advocates, or the leading advocate for prescribed fire across our state, because we know the value that fire brings to our communities, brings to our landowners, and it brings ultimately to our state. And we also realize the value that it means to protecting that great and plentiful forest resource that we have. And then ultimately, when we do that, protecting that forest resource really fuels Georgia's forest economy, and it positions Georgia to be and to continue to be a great place for all of us to live and work and to be a part of. So, Eric, with that, I will stop, and we can try to questions if you want to do that, Eric. I'm open to that, and if not, I will turn it back over to you.
All right. I don't think we have any questions right now, but just appreciate your time today and joining us, and excited to hear about that UAV program. That's something we're working on too at the Forest Service, but looking forward to see where that goes for y'all too. But appreciate the great information today, and with that, we'll move on and transition over to our next speaker. But Tim, thank you again.
Yeah, thank you, Mike.